last lesson of the phase 4 of the mindset is probably the most important one, because without this, you've got nothing else going for you. And it's this idea of consistency. Consistency is the most important aspect, because you can have perfect action, you can have all the process in the world, you can have all the understanding, the maturity, the mindset, the ability to have mindfulness, the knowledge about yourself. But if you don't do it consistently, you are not developing the patterns that you need to make things permanent. Nothing happens from a one-time, one-off event. Things happen from little bits of action over time. Now there's this idea, it's called the law of hypnotic rhythm. And it's simply saying that, like gravity, like erosion, things that make big changes over time happen in such a way that they become just rhythm, your daily routine. You're not really thinking about it, you're just doing. And the people that are successful with your diet, with your training, with your exercise, with your school, with your work, whatever it is, are those that just make it part of their lifestyle. For example, if I look at my diet and my eating, I'm in great shape and healthy and I'm lean and all these things that are valuable. I've achieved all my goals. It requires such little effort and work, it's not even funny. And a lot of people think it must be very hard to stay that lean and be in that good shape, but it's really not. It's just a matter of being smart about the process. I don't keep junk food in the house. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I don't drink soda. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I mean, just making the decision to cut out the things that otherwise pull you off the train tracks is gonna be 98% of the work. If you just make your life centered around simplicity in terms of the actions required to be successful, you will be successful, because now you're not dealing with it. But if you want to be a great soccer player or football player and you've got to go every day, I play video games, I go to schoolwork, and I hang out with my friends, and I get on social media, and I got to sleep a lot, and I'm like, whatever it is, guess what? You have 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 things competing for your time and your energy. But if all you have is, I got to get schoolwork done, and then I play my sport, it no longer becomes a sacrifice. It's just, this is what I do. When you have stopped considering your actions in terms of sacrifices and what you're giving up, and you're just focused on, this is what I do, you will be successful, because you are in the law of hypnotic rhythm. The perfect demonstration of this is if you're on TikTok, the next swipe. If you're on Netflix, you finish an episode, next one starting in 5 seconds. It's that law of hypnotic rhythm. Sure, some people can watch one episode of Netflix and turn the TV off. And some people can just look at their TikTok and look at a few and turn it off. But this idea of, they make it easy for you to just slip right into the next one, and all of a sudden 20 minutes, 50 minutes, 3 hours goes by, and all of a sudden you're losing track of what's happening. That is the law of hypnotic rhythm. And understand, this hypnotic rhythm it's not good nor bad. It's just the pattern. It's just like gravity. It's not good or bad. Gravity is great when you're trying to stay on the ground, but gravity sucks when you fall and you're laying on your head or your back because you got knocked over. Those things are neither good nor bad forces. It's just a law of nature. So your goal is to be able to say, when it comes to consistency, what am I doing consistently? And if I'm not doing something I want to be doing consistently, why am I not? What is making it harder? And this brings us this entire idea of habits and routines. The things that you do daily are your routines. The things that you do consistently, your habits, what you are doing without really having to think about it. It's just kind of, yep, this is what I do. Those are what define your hypnotic rhythm. And when you get up and I make my bed first, I do a daily tan, I drink my water, those 3 things, they put you in a place where you're ready to go move forward. And sometimes the best thing you can do for a habit or routine is to cut out something. For me, I realized it was very difficult to do what I wanted to do in terms of the success and creation and everything I needed to put together if I'm watching TV. When I grew up, my mom was like, no TV, no video games, Sunday through Thursday. Of course, on Friday and Saturday, I lived it up big time, but I realized if I want to get these things done and have the impact and the income and success I want in life, it's not gonna happen if I'm sitting there watching TV. So by saying, I'm not gonna watch TV, I watch TV Saturday night as of now, and it may go less, may change, but all I did was say, this thing is hard to moderate, it's hard to do in control, so I'm gonna nix it, I'm gonna cut it out. That may seem like a sacrifice, but once it becomes habit and routine, you don't think about it, and you're just focused on building and growing and becoming something else. So the whole point of this is you set priorities and you make time for what you need. Now, this last thing we'll talk about is this idea of you don't find time for things in life. You make time for things. If you ever tell someone, I'll see if I can find some time to make that happen, just tell them that it's not going to happen. You make time for what's important. And you can look back at your last week and think, what did I do? Because if it was important enough to you, you did it. And I'm not saying it's objectively important. You may be able to say, yeah, sure, getting my homework done is more important than TikTok. But whatever your actions are, say what you value more. Being entertained, being able to laugh, I don't know, being connected with people, being able to put stuff up, whatever it is, not having to do difficult work, those showed what your values were. We talked about your values earlier. This idea of thinking, being able to look at this and say, what did I do? What did I make time for? That will show you what you actually prioritize. So understand, you can't always retroactively change it, but you can move forward and say, what am I gonna make time for this week? I've got to get school, work, sports, training, whatever it is, my diet, my nutrition. These need to be taken care of. I'm making time for that first. And that means the sacrifice, the boundaries, saying no to things, making choices. All of these things come together. You have to be able to take ownership. You're the one that's making the choice. You have to take sacrifice and say, I'm not going to do this. You make choices about what you are going to do. You have to set boundaries about what's important to you based off your values, based off what you want. You have to be able to do this to create habits and routines. And it can sound overwhelming when you throw all these things together, but in reality, it's just simplifying. What do I want? What is the easiest way to get there? And if you make that the only option you have, you will get there, because taking on all the opportunities to pull you away and distract you. The last part of this will leave you with a visual. You have a big bucket and you've got sand and rocks. If you put the sand in first and then put the rocks on top of it, it won't all fit. But if you put the rocks in first and let the sand filter in around it, it all fits. And the whole point is just saying that the big rocks are your most important priorities. They need to go in first, and the sand will fill in around it. For you, I don't know what your big rock's gonna be. I don't know what your little sand is gonna be, but I know that you have to figure out and think about that for yourself and then schedule those big rocks first. If you don't do that, you'll never be able to be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you will never be successful.